Okay, students, today I'm excited to tell you that we are going to do step 2 of making our looms for our circle weaving. So once you have this painted from last week, you may be finished, you may need to add more to it. You can see this is the one I showed in the previous video, but I have added a lot of detail to it. I finished painting the green and another layer of blue, and then I started adding details with my brush. If you didn't get to that yet, that's okay. But I want you to first cut the notches for your loom for weaving before you add any more paint to this for this week. So the very first thing you do today is you get one of these. I have a T for template. Okay, this is our template, which just means it's our pattern. You lay it inside your plate, you get a Sharpie, and you're going to make sure it doesn't move. You don't want it to move at all. And you're going to make lines on your loom. Right where these marks are, you can see these black marks here. I'm going to do a line right where that spot is. So every place there's a notch. And I'm making sure this doesn't shift or move, because if it moves, then I might end up with too many notches. I want exactly the number of notches I have. And we're going to count to make sure that. So after you have all of the notches Sharpied, we're going to count them before we cut. Now I'm back to the beginning. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. You're going to put your thumb on the one you start with and count around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. You should have 19 notches. It needs to be an odd number. After you've done that, you can return your Sharpie. You don't need it anymore. And you're going to get a scissors. And you're going to cut each of those Sharpie lines. And you're going to just cut right to the edge of the rim of your plate. So that basically for me, it's this blue strip. I'm going to cut at every Sharpie line, so all 19. When I get done doing this, I will be ready for weaving next week. When you are done, I want you then, if there's time left, to go back into your plate and add designs. So I have done, some details already, but I could still add some paint. You're going to want a very little brush. All right, am I almost to the end? I think I'm almost done cutting. You want a small brush so you can add details. If you are still painting the large areas, obviously then you'll get a bigger brush. So I'm done with my scissors. Time for me to get a little cup of water and some paint. You can share with your neighbor. And I'm going to use a very small brush. And I already have a lot of details. I realize that most of my weaving will cover this up, so I'm going to focus on the edge. I might want to add maybe some designs. So I'm going to add maybe a little pink hearts. I could do zigzag lines. These are kind of like, actually they're kind of like pink V's. So it's hard to do detail with a brush, and that is why you want a little one. And you have to realize pink on green, unless I use a big gob of it, doesn't show up to be the same color. You can see some of the color is a little darker where they're mixing. So I'm going to do little pink hearts. I might decide after I do all of those that I want to add a pink dot to go with it on top. So I'm going to keep adding details to my loom. I might decide I want to go where my black Sharpie was. Maybe I don't want to see the black Sharpie, so I'm going to paint over those. It is very important you cut first and then paint, because once you paint, you can't cut the notches because you'll get it paint all over your scissors. So I'm going to put a little pink mark where every notch is. When you're all done decorating your plate, we are going to put these back. We'll put them on the drying rack. If they don't fit, we might put them at the back counter by pink table. But for now, we'll put them on the drying rack. Okay, have fun. Cut your notches and decorate your plate.